Hi, this is Steve at AcroOptics with the second in our set of videos to get you set up and running on the AcroOptics LED fixtures. Today we're going to talk about programming and the best way to program a fixture. So we will go ahead and we'll use the same fixture we used in the first video. This is a reef fixture, so it's going to have reef color sets, but we can take a look at the flower fixtures as well. Methodologically, it's identical. You're going to program them the same way. It's just that the color sets that are available to you are different between the two. So we'll go back and open up our application. And you can see that on the dashboard now we claimed this fixture on the last video. We put the example program that comes with the application on there just to get us started. And that's what's displaying here now on the dashboard. The red vertical line here is the current time. It's a little bit late at night. But this is the program that's actually running on the fixture. We'll go to Program Manager. We can edit the existing program. We can create a new program. The easiest program to set up is an Astro program, because you will simply tell it a location. You won't have to worry about rise or set times for the sun or the moon or anything like that. So we'll run through that quickly. We're going to create a new program. And as I said, this is a reef fixture, so we'll go ahead and use reef colors. And we'll use an Astro program. And we'll go ahead and create that. Now, we can name the program immediately if we want. You can also go ahead and select a location. It lets you select from anywhere, including over open water or way up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. So there's not necessarily going to be a location where you are named, so you can populate that in there. If there is a close location, it will go ahead and select it. I've always been fond of Nevis or maybe Turks and Caicos. Yeah, let's go down there. So I'm just expanding in to pick some place where I actually want this to be, and we'll go ahead and pick right there. Alright, so we've got Turks and Caicos. That's actually going to be a long program name. I'm not going to want to remember that, so we'll just put Turks. Okay. And we're done with our fixture name and our location. We'll go in and set our LED values. For each color chain in the fixture that you have, whether it's the flower terrestrial plant fixture or the coral fixture, you'll see a sun and moon for each of the color channels. And you can set what those values are using the sliders, or you can go in and actually type it in if you are so inclined. Okay. It will track the sun and moon based on the location that you have selected. So what you're telling it is the peak value that you wish the sun to hit for each of the colors, and then what peak value you wish the moon to hit, and that would of course would be a full moon. It does adjust for the percentage of illuminance of the moons. A lot of folks like to use those for aesthetics, or if you're really doing it and truly want it to be moon, it would be all of the colors because it's just a reflection of the sun. But a lot of folks like to do it just for aesthetics, especially on coral tanks, where maybe they're going to run some blue and they're going to run some UV at night just to give it a nice appearance. We'll go ahead and set our white values, and we'll put some sun glow in for the sun, and we can add a little cyan. We can add a little green, and then I'm going to put a little bit in here again for just an aesthetics for the moon. So we will create that program. I now have a program there called Turks. I can pop over to my fixture manager and assign that to the fixture that we have just claimed. So you can see that it's now available. We save, and it saves out to the fixture. Now, if we go in and edit that program right now, because it's on a fixture, when you change a program that is associated with a fixture already, it will immediately update the fixture once the program has been edited. We took off the reef example program that was on there. We can edit that one. It will not go back and forth to the fixture because it isn't on the fixture. In multiple fixture arrays, if there are multiple fixtures running that program, all of the fixtures will be updated as soon as you finish editing it. Okay. So the astronomical function is a great way to run a tank or a garden, depending on what you're looking to do. But a lot of folks like to get more specific than that, and the typical use case is usually a custom program. So we'll take a look at one of those right now. And we can make a program without being connected to Fixture, so let's go ahead and make a flower custom program. Okay. Now, in a custom program, there's a couple things I'm going to do. I have up to 8 points over any 24-hour period that I can go ahead and set. I can then interpolate between those points using an arc, using a line, using a step function. I have the same capabilities I have with an astrological program for setting the LED values. So we'll go ahead and just call this oops. The joys of using a stylus. Not quite as adept. Okay, I have my program. I've told it what kind of program it is. I can set my line, arc, or step function right here. But what I want to do right now is go in and set my LED values. Now, we started from scratch. It's a lot easier to just do this with one of the example programs and modify it so you don't have to enter all the points, but we'll go ahead and just go ahead and get them in. So we're on the flower red channel. This is up in the 780 nanometer range. So this is your flowering, and we're going to go ahead and set some points in here. How we want to run the fixture, and actually that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and remove that last point. We don't need that. So I'll go ahead and drop that down. We can put this wherever we like. If you can't get it dead accurate here, you can use the push buttons down at the bottom. We want it 60 instead of 60%. I know my fingers are a little bit large to get it dead on every time. One touch of either of the buttons, this is the time, this is the percentage. One touch will move it one increment. So on the time, that's going to be in minutes. If you hold it down, it will scroll through, and you can actually see the point moving around on the line. All right, so why don't we run that down to 1030. And of course, we want that to be 0. Okay, I think I just moved it again. Oh, back there. Okay, so now we have a value where it's going to rise, when it's going to peak, and when it's going to set. Now, I mentioned that you can put up to 8 points in here. Anytime you have 2 consecutive zeros, the fixture will actually be off between them. So if I wanted to add a secondary, I can go in and have the fixture ramp up to 60%, turn off for a period of time, and then ramp up to 32%, and then it will shut itself off. I don't have to put all of these in if I don't want the fixture to be totally off. If I just want to maybe have it have a little valley in the course of the day. Really, it is whatever you want to do. And you can put as many of those points on there as you like. When they cross over 0, you'll notice that it picks up on the other side. In effect, you're crossing midnight, so it will start a little bit early and come back. Now, in order to see the effect of the interpolation type, this is just showing our red channel at the moment, the one we put the colors in for. If I made that linear, if I made that a step function, so, and you can overlap these on top of one another for all of the colors, so they don't all have to be the same. We'll go ahead and let's make it linear, just because it'll look cool. So let's go back to our flower red, and let's drop some of these out of here. This is a little noisy. Oops, I had add point selected. I want a trash point. And we will trash that point. Let's pull this one up. And let's get rid of that guy. Alright, so now we have a nice trapezoidal program running over the course of the day. I'm going to repeat that for each of the colors that I want to have involved in a program. Let's just go ahead and pop some more. It's going to take me a while to get used to this stylus. They are pretty cool though. It's a couple of bucks down at the hardware store. Okay, there's another rhombus. Now if we popped back to the main program screen, we would see both of the colors that we just put in. Let's say that I got this and I'm running it to, what do I have here, 43% at some crazy hour. Let's go ahead and make that 45 just because it'll give us a prettier picture. But I don't want to stay there, right? I want, over the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever amount of time I see fit, I want to take it and I want to ramp up the intensity. I want to go from 45% to, say, 80%. I can select my ramp function, and that ramp function is specific by color. If you have it for one color, you don't necessarily have to have it for all of them, or you can have it for all of them if you like. I've already put my starting value in. Let's go ahead and enter an end. We'll select the date. Today's the 15th. And what the heck, let's go to the 15th of next month. Okay, but instead of 45, I'm going to run those guys up to 80. Okay. Again, if I go back to my program screen, you'll notice there's now a button along the bottom. That ramp button will scroll through the dates between the current date and the farthest date out on the fixture, and I can see what will happen. And you can see as the white ramps up over time. Once it hits the end date, it will just stay at whatever the last value you set was, so it will continue. This is great for plants if you want to have seedlings that you're going to run at a lower intensity, and as they start to grow, you want to reach up to the higher intensities and get a little more punch in there. If you want to shift towards the flower red at the end of a grow season, that's going to force flowering on the plants, or fruiting if you've got them. On reefs, it's really more for acclimatization. There's a mouthful. Acclimatizing new corals. You know, if I have a coral that has never seen UV before, for example, perhaps I want to get it used to ultraviolet, so I'm going to be very gentle with it. I'm going to do that over the course of 30 or 60 days. It just gives it an easy way to do it without having to worry about going in and fiddling around with it all the time. So we've created this program now. And we'll go ahead and we'll just say, so it's a 2-color program, really fancy program here. Not sure who's actually going to use that one. I don't actually have a flower fixture hooked up here to assign it to. But that gives you the idea about what you're doing with to create a custom program and an astrological program. So you can get as flexible and creative as you like, especially on the coral side. Make sure that you're gentle with your livestock. They don't like real fast changes in light. The terrestrial plants are obviously a lot more accommodating of sudden shifts in light output, but even there, this is a very powerful fixture, so you want to be careful as you do things, especially over seedlings or new livestock. That's it for AcroOptics' second video of how to set up your fixture. We'll see you again next time. Thanks.